Hello children, today we are going to start the different aquatic habitat. Okay, till last class we have discussed terrestrial habitat. Children, look at here, the fish, the dolphin, crabs, frogs, those organisms which are present in the ocean, right? Now let's study the adaptations in aquatic animals. What type of adaptation? First let's have ocean. Okay, in ocean you can see mainly fishes. Fishes have the streamlined shapes. Streamlined shapes. This shapes helps them to move inside water. Okay, that you have already learned. Fishes have streamlined shape, not the point. Because of that, how is the shape? Yes, this type of shape, right? Yes, the front portion, the head portion and the tail portion is comparatively small and the body part is the biggest part. That type of shape is called streamlined shape. Okay, and fish have the slippery scales. That is the second adaptation of fish. Slippery scales means what? Yes, the scales will protect the fish. And look at here, this is the scale, like the structure. Okay, like the structure you can see here, this is the scale. Actually this will protect the fish and also help in easy movement through water because of this slippery scale on their body that protects the fish. Okay, and the next adaptation of fish is flat fins and tails. Look at here, the fins are very flat and the tails also. When you touch it you can see that it is very flat and the tail also is very flat. Help them to change direction and keep their body balance. Remember the point? These flat fins and tails helps the fish for the body balancing. And the last, you know that gills are present in the fish can help them to use oxygen dissolved in water. Okay, that helps dissolve the oxygen. Okay, you know that through gills fishes can breathe, right? Through gills fishes can breathe. Okay, and you know what is a gill is present? Yes, here you can see gills are present over here. Okay, so when you observe fishes in aquarium and all, you might have seen that the water bubbles are coming out. What is that exactly? Yes, the fish is breathing. How? Because the water have oxygen in the form of dissolved oxygen, DO. Okay, the dissolved oxygen helps to breathing the fishes. That is why you can see through gills the fish will be breathing. Okay, these are the adaptations of fishes. It has streamlined shape, slippery scales, flat fins and tails, and finally gills. Children, there are some sea animals like squid and octopus which do not have streamlined shape. But how they are surviving in water? Look at here, octopus, dolphin, blowholes, like whales, etc. Okay, they don't have streamlined body. They stay deeper in the ocean. They stay deeper in the ocean near the seabed and catch any prey that moves towards them. Okay, they stay deeper in the ocean. Okay, and what happens near the seabed and catch and prey that moves towards them. However, when they move in water, they make their body shape streamlined. Actually, they don't have the adaptation of streamlined, but when they move in water, they make their body shapes streamlined. Okay, these animals have gills to help them use oxygen dissolved in water. These also have gills to breathe and to take dissolved oxygen from the water. And children, not the point, dolphin and whales, sea animals that do not have gills but they breathe in air through nostrils or blowholes. Actually, dolphin and whales, they do not have gills but still they are breathing through nostrils or blowholes which are located on the upper parts of their heads. Not the point. Which organ is there to breathe? Yes, nostrils or blowholes. okay, which are present on the upper part of the head. Look at here. This is the blowhole. This is the blowhole of the blue whale. Look at here. This is the nostril or blowhole of the dolphin. Okay. Okay. This, look at the body shape. Yes, streamlined body shape. But instead of gills, they have blowholes. Blowholes or nostrils. Okay. Compared to gills, is respiratory organ is little bit bigger. Compared to gills, it is little bit bigger. Okay, children. And this is the another adaptation of dolphin and the blue whale. This allows them to breathe in air when they swim near the surface of water. Okay, they can stay inside the water and they can stand outside. They come out to the surface from time to time to breathe in air. In water also they can breathe, and when they come out of the water, that time also they can breathe. That is the one of the important adaptation of this. Okay, they can stay inside the water for a long time without breathing. Without breathing, they can stay inside the water. Okay, now let's have the ponds and lakes. Next adaptation. In ponds and lakes, mainly you can see frogs. What are the adaptations of frogs? Frogs usually have ponds as their habitat. Frogs can stay both inside the pond water as well as move on land. They can live on land and water. They have strong back legs that help them to leaping, jumping and catching their prey. They can jump very fast, no? Yes, they have long legs. That is why they can catch their prey easily. They have webbed feet. Look at here. The next important adaptation, the next adaptation of frog is the webbed feet. Look at here, the wheat. Wheat is covered with a skin. That is webbed feet. The same type of feet also present in the duck also. Right? Yes, these have webbed feet which help swim in water. Which helps swim in water. Because of the webbed feet, this can swim in water. Now the adaptations in aquatic plants. So adaptations of aquatic animals are mostly finished. Now children, look at here. The same picture you can see it in your textbook also. Some aquatic plants. Okay, some plants are float on water and some have their roots fixed in the soil at the bottom. Look at here. It's fixed at the bottom. Some aquatic plants are submerged in water. Submerged in water, and look at this plant. Yes, these plants have a deep root that will be fixed on the soil. But look at here. Look at here. These are floating. Look, that this root is not fixed. But this is partly submerged. Partly submerged, like water lily and lotus. Just you can pluck it up. These are completely submerged plants. These are the completely submerged plant you can see under the sea. Okay. Children, let's divide or let's study in detail how this root and stems actually help to survive in water. Aquatic plants do not depend on their roots for absorption of water and minerals. Water and minerals can be absorbed directly from surface of leaves, branch and stem. Thus aquatic plants have very small and short roots, and their main function is to hold the plant in place. Actually, the aquatic plants do not depend on their roots. Without roots it can, but what is the function actually? Why the roots are there? Why the roots are over there? Because just to hold the plant in place. That is the only one function, because water is available, because the plants are surviving in the water itself, need not absorb any kind of water. Automatically always it is submerged in water, no? So the thing is that this root just only hold the plants in place, just for holding. That is the purpose of very small and short roots. Just to fix on the soil. Okay, no other function. And the stem of these plants are long, hollow and light. How is the stem of this plant? These plants are long, hollow and light. Look at here. It is long, right? Yes, this is hollow and light stem. Very tender stem it has. Okay. And some aquatic plants are, you can see, it can easily bend. Easily bend means it is inside, it is very thin, very tender, right? It can bend with flow of water. If it's water flowing very roughly means it will bend, but it never damaged by the water flow. Okay, it never damaged. It can wait, it can hold, or the stem, even though the stem is bent. Okay, look at here, long, hollow and light stem is there. Okay, the next it is, some aquatic plants are totally submerged in water. All parts of such plants grow underwater. Some of these plants have narrow and thick ribbon-like leaves. Okay, not the point. Some of these plants have narrow and ribbon-like leaves. How is the nature of the plant? Yes, narrow and ribbon-like leaves are present. Okay, so what happens when water is flowing strongly means that time what happens? Yes, that time this bend in the flowing water and leaves are often highly divided, and some plants you can see highly divided leaves. These are highly divided leaves which can be you can see which will be fixed on the soil, right? This highly divided leaves, will it go, when the water is falling strongly, when compared to this first one, which one is more strong? Which one is more strong? Which water can easily flow without damaging them. Since it is leaves are highly divided means the water can flow easily without damaging them. So these kinds of plants you can observe under the sea. Okay, the normal water lily, lotus and all, you know that, right? Now let's have the living things around us. What are the requirements for the living things? How they are surviving? Okay, these are all we are discussing now. Okay, in a living organisms which are present will be surviving without basic needs, or without basic needs which cannot survive. That point we have discussed already. Now, can you imagine, children, can you imagine an environment without any organism? Can you think a place where there is no living organism? Is it an environment? Can we call them an environment without any organisms? No, it is not possible. Living organisms are present everywhere. Variety of living organisms are present inside our home also. Ants, spiders, cockroaches, lizards, etc. People have even found tiny living organisms in the openings of volcanoes. You know the volcanic eruption, right? People have even found tiny living organisms in the opening of the volcanoes also. But we don't know exactly what them call, what type of organism it is, but people invented. There are some organisms, but we people know that the organisms which are commonly seen. Now let's have the characteristics. All living things need food. So, even if it is a living organism, one thing is essential: food. So plants make their own food through the process of photosynthesis. That is why plants are known as autotrophs. Okay, in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight and water and carbon dioxide, plants can prepare food in the form of carbohydrate. So that plants are known as autotrophs. Okay. And what about heterotrophs? Yes. Animals and human beings. Animals and human beings are heterotrophs because they cannot synthesize food. But the thing is that there is a food chain in the environment. Grass is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by rat, rat is eaten by snake, snake is eaten by the vulture, and finally the vulture undergo degradation, and from the vulture the dead organism is started. From the dead decaying matter, the saprophytes means the fungi is originated. Okay, actually the food chain should follow in the environment. Okay, grass is eaten by grasshopper, grasshopper is eaten by rat, which is eaten by snake, snake is eaten by vulture, and finally from the vulture, from the dead decaying organism, there is a saprophytes or originates. Okay children, food gives organisms the energy to grow and carry out various life processes. Non-living things do not need food for survival. Non-living things do not need food for survival. That point you have to remember. All living things need food. All living things need food. Without food, it is not possible for the survival. Okay, all are living, and even a living organism should grow. The second point, all living things show growth. Okay, it is common to all living things. A baby grows and becomes adult. So sizes increases. Growth means your size increases. Look at here. A baby size increases, and finally when he reaches to the adulthood. Okay. A seeds grow and becomes a tree. Look at here. A small seeds is growing and finally it become a tree. Okay. All living things show growth. And young ones of animals also grow into adults. Puppies are, you look at here, you can see puppies. Finally a beautiful dog. Okay.